So if you can get past the mask and the fringes that he's got going on, you're in for a treat. Pony, the debut album from Orville Peck. The interesting thing about this is that I didn't know about Orville Peck before listening to his music or anything like that. It's not like I heard about him on the internet or anything. I was like, went to go look him up on my Spotify. What had actually happened was much more embarrassing because I was in a very 2010 music kind of mood. It's kind of a lot of what I remember from growing up, right? And I had a craving to listen to this one song called "According to You" by an Australian singer guitarist named Oriente. So what I was doing was I was on my Spotify at work, and I was like, hey, this would be a great song to listen to right now at like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So I started typing it in, OR, and then Orville Peck popped up on my, I guess, recommended. I don't know exactly how that works, but I don't know if it was the name or what it was, but for some reason I was possessed to actually click on it, and I did. And my first immediate reaction was to flip my phone right back on the desk, because the outfit he has on and his whole like persona stage presence vibe that he's got going on didn't seem very work appropriate.
Come to my convenience store. Would you like some googie googie? Oh, I have some very delicious.
I mean, if you work in an office, you know, like the moment you have your phone on and you're like texting or doing whatever, your boss or your boss's boss walks behind you and it's just like, there's Jason again, not doing work. But I should probably get to the actual review. So I started off with Dead of Night, and then after that I quickly kind of transitioned into Take You Back. And the parentheses, I believe, for that song, let's see if I can remember it, I want to say it's Iron Hoof Cattle Call. That song is so animated. It's so fun. It's the sound effects, the sha and the whips, the whistling, everything is, it's so different from everything that I've been listening to. And I think so different from what a lot of people are listening to, that it's absolutely refreshing to hear an artist who has such a unique sound and is not afraid to experiment a little bit. So fast forward after those two songs, I of course transition into the album once I have a little bit more time on my hands, right? And the way I listen to albums, I am always under the impression that when an artist or a producer makes an album, by the time you get to the final cut, the order of the songs is very important, and they've made that choice. Like, they've put those songs there in that order for a reason. It was a decision, right? So I try to always listen to songs, or albums, from start to finish. And when I listen to the album, wow. Like I said, all of his songs, or I guess that album as a whole, and I know it came out in 2019 if I'm not mistaken. I just don't know when in 2019. I don't really know when or how Orville Peck came into the scene. Oh my god. I feel like it's not one of my videos anymore if I don't burp in the middle of it. Excuse me, I can't promise that it won't happen again though. So, see, now I don't remember what I was saying. Right, so I don't know exactly when or how Orville Peck came onto the scene, but man, am I glad he did. The immediate standouts for me was Roses Are Falling, Dead of Night, obviously, Take You Back, obviously, and Hope to Die also. Hope to Die was an immediate standout, but then I kind of wasn't listening to it, because when I think like a lot of people, when I listen or find a song, or several songs that I like, or a new artist that I like, that song or artist album is like on repeat for 2 or 3 weeks or something like that. And Hope to Die stood out to me originally, but then like it wasn't one of the ones that I kept going back to on the album. And it wasn't until I listened to it today before I made this video, and after having explored Orville Peck a little bit more, that Hope to Die is kind of one of my favorites, because he has his own Whitney Houston "I Will Always Love You" moment, right? In the song "I Will Always Love You," before the big and he, I don't know, because he has had a lot of female artists inspire him, and it makes me wonder, was that his, even in his own, from his own perspective, was that his big Whitney Houston moment? And I'm still on. Anyways, enough about that song. Roses Are Falling. I want to just talk about that one and call that one out especially as well. If we're one of the like 5 people that are subscribed to my channel right now, I'm into screenwriting too, and that's my biggest dream. That's my end all be all for me, screenwriting, right? And a lot of times when I'm listening to music, it's kind of like, oh, like I make a scene with it in my head, or I just think plainly like, wow, this would be great to use in a movie one day. And Roses Are Falling is the most, I want to write a scene that is driven by that song. I love it so much. I will say though, one of the things that did, when I was first listening to it, maybe the first couple of times I was listening to Pony, I was a little bit worried that some of the songs were, not worried, it was my impression that, you know, listening to it for the third or fourth time, start to finish, bottom to, or top to bottom, there was this sound that was present in all of it, right? In every single song that I was listening to. And it was this kind of like reverb. Sounds like doom. I can actually, I wonder if I can recreate it. All right, so let's see if this actually works. This is a sound that I was kind of talking about when I heard kind of like a motif throughout the album. Or, you know, you'll have chords kind of going around. It's just. So it's that kind of reverb effect that I was talking about that is present in what I thought was kind of like a lot of his album. As I was listening to it for the first few times, I was like, this sound that he's making is a little bit repetitive. And it's kind of weird because the sound is what attracted me to his music to begin with, right? But I guess, like a lot of people, it's like if I keep hearing the same thing over and over again, oh, God, it happened again, sorry. Like if I kept hearing the same thing over and over again, it would be like, what's like, there's nothing new here for me. And just in general, by the way, I'm always very confused about the debate over like, oh, this band just makes the same music over and over again, man. Or like, wow, that's completely different. I don't like that anymore. I don't understand why that has become such a big, like, I can see why people are against it or for it, but I just wish people would let artists be artists, you know? Anyways, for a while I was kind of like, oh, it's a great album, it's a great song, there are great songs on it. Orville Peck has a really good and unique voice, obviously. But the songs themselves are a little bit, you know, some of the same old. But as I kept listening to it, I wasn't listening to it from top to bottom anymore. It was just, you know, I hit shuffle play. And then, oddly enough, despite my efforts to always listen to an album the way, you know, the producers or artists intended it to be listened to, and once I started shuffling things around, there wasn't as much back-to-back reverb effects on all of the songs, and they started to become more unique to me. But before I wrap all this up, there was something that I would rue. Do you guys remember that word from? I learned it from iCarly. It was that little weird kid that had a crush on Carly. I don't remember his name, but he wasn't Gibby. Anyways, so something I would rue or regret is the fact that Orville Peck is openly gay, right? I started kind of getting hints of it, in his songs. I think Dead of Night, it was like, see the boys as they walk on by. That's the lyric, right? And I was kind of like, okay. Like I guess it kind of caught me off guard, but it wasn't anything like, oh, he's gay. It was more like, he's just, I don't know, he's watching people walk by and they happen to be guys. And then there's another song, I don't remember the song off the top of my head, but there's a lyric about falling in love with a boxer, and boxers are usually guys. And then I was like, is he gay? Because for years, ever since I became a fan of country music, any faction of it, right? I always tell this to my girlfriend, one day there's going to be a guy that sounds like Johnny Cash, that sounds like Luke Combs or something, right? That's gay and sings about guys. And I haven't heard it until now. And I don't know, I'm really excited about it, but I am. As far as I'm concerned, this is a win for country music. All right, so I'm going to wrap it up there. But if you guys have not already listened to Pony, the album by Orville Peck, do yourself a favor, go ahead and listen to it, especially if you're a fan of more of the traditional country music. And like I said, if you can get past the mask, all will be okay. I originally thought it was a gimp mask that he like altered and put frills on, so I was very relieved to find out it was actually a Lone Ranger mask that he put frills on, because for some reason, well, I guess not even for some reason, it's pretty obvious why, the gimp mask made me very uncomfortable. Pulp Fiction has scarred me forever. So I don't usually like to give, like ratings to albums or movies or TV shows that I watch and stuff, because I just feel like it's not insulting, but that's not what it's there for. It's there to be enjoyed, and it doesn't matter what I think or what other people think. It's if you like it, if that's the sound you go for, if that's what you vibe with, at the end of the day, that's all that matters, right? But I will say that this album, if you're a fan of either traditional country or what I've dubbed Carson City country, or just music in general, I think there's something here to be appreciated by everybody. And give it a go, man.